Hey everybody, welcome back to Mario Galaxy 2, and we're doing our first... I called it a Bowser level in the last one. I guess technically that's not true. It's a Bowser Jr. level. Every other world has a Bowser Jr. one. The odd-numbered ones have Bowser Jr. levels, and the even-numbered ones have Bowser levels. But they're fucking Bowser levels, whatever. Bowser Jr. is a Bowser. His name is Bowser, also. It's weird that you never call Bowser Bowser Sr., you know? And here's me just bumping right into a fucking enemy and not even, like, knowing what I'm doing. But yeah, this first one is fairly easy. These obviously get harder as the game goes on. It's a very novel concept for video games. Doesn't usually happen that way, so I felt the need to say it. Yeah. It's a Monday morning when I am recording this. Good morning? Sunday morning? No, it's, yeah, Monday. I took work off today because last night was the Oscars, and I was doing my live stream of the Oscars, which went pretty well, I think. And I knew months ago that when I first had the idea to do the stream, I was like, okay, well, streaming or not, I am probably, like, the Oscars usually goes to like 11:30, and then I usually stay up and like talk about it with friends and whatnot and just chill out. And I know that I'm going to want to just like go to sleep when I want and wake up when I want the next day and not have to worry about work. And I was 1000% correct about that. I was full of beer and Taco Bell last night, and I was not in any shape to... I'm not going to say I wasn't in any shape to go to work today. I feel fine and I'm feeling good, but that's the point. I wanted to just feel good and have a nice little morning after, and chill out. And also, I've had a lot of longer weeks at work lately, so I feel like, I don't take that much time off. I'll just take day off. So, 2 months ago, I asked for this day off. And now here we are, and it was a baller decision on my part. Pretty much, I always, second-guess myself when I'm like, oh, I should call off work for some day. And then every time I do it, it's a good decision. I've never been disappointed in my decision to do that. Here's me. Once I fuck up the timing with spinning on this boss, I always have trouble getting back into the rhythm, and this boss is kind of a clusterfuck because he's a long boy and he's going all over the screen and there's stuff flying everywhere, and there were some times here where I couldn't really tell what the fuck was going on. So you can get your ass beat pretty easily, and I'm really getting my ass kicked right now, but I don't die in this. I was worried that I would, but I did lose my extra hit points, so I kind of suck. Anyway, this is Gobblegut, and I'm kind of mad that I'm sucking at the boss here, because, first of all, it's a pretty easy boss, and it's also one of my favorite bosses in the game. I think it's it's very simple and straightforward, like most of them. Just hit the big bulbous points. But I just think it's a neat sort of concept, He's a long boy with these little things on him that you can hit, and he goes into the planetoid. I don't know. It's just taking the sort of basic stuff of the game and using it well for a cool sort of first major boss. There are a lot of fucking bosses in this game. I like his death animation as well, and I did not plan for all of those star bits to be all dancing around the Grand Star there, but it looked really nice. I love when I see a big pile of star bits all together in this game, when for, however it happens, something just blows up and there's a bunch of star bits and you can just suck them all up. I love it. So anyway, that was Bowser Jr.'s Fiery Tortilla. And now we are able to open the next world of the game. So here we go, World 2, which has a very pretty map, I guess you'd call it, the background that you have when you're on the map and when you're on the Starship Mario thing. And now we get to do, I don't know if this is necessarily one of my favorite galaxies, but I remember when I was a kid and first played this, I would always look forward to playing this one. And I think it's mostly due to the music, which I really like. So yeah, I just wanted to let you hear the music a little bit. It's one of my favorite songs in the game. It's just really jazzy and upbeat, and I enjoy it. Completely shit the bed at this fucking thing, but don't worry, we're gonna have to go through this level again, and I'll do it right next time. The trick is to fucking get rid of these worm boys before you attempt it, but I did not have that in my head. Anyway, I really like the part in this music where the background part with the like boop 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 boop. I don't know how to fucking imitate it, but you know what I mean. It's the spacey sound, the little warbly. I think it's probably just like a synth, but or you know, just some kind of digital sound, but I don't know. I guess it wouldn't be a theremin. Theremins don't really sound like that. And then the violin there, or is it a fiddle? I don't know, but either way, it's, I enjoy it, I like the thing. And I mean, the level is fine. I was kind of, like, not doing very well at it here, but, I'm not really doing justice to the levels of this game that I actually enjoy, it seems, but... And I missed the coin. I was trying to collect all the coins to feed to the Luma because he requires many, but came up very slightly short, and but I'm still showing this. I'm not going to show when I go through this again and collect all the coins. You don't need to fucking see it, but I thought I would at least show off this little area, and they must give you a lot of time, because I was like running into things and taking my sweet ass time with that part, and still worked out pretty well. Sometimes I kind of wish the jumping and movement physics of this felt more like 3D Land in some of those parts, because there are a lot of parts like that that are in 3D Land, and 3D Land in general has always just seemed like a kind of extension of the Galaxy games to a degree. Yeah, came up just short, and whatever. We'll get them next time. I don't know in what particular way I would want it to be more similar to 3D Land. I don't really mean in terms of is the range of like directions that you can go in any different? There's a fucking awesome jump by me. I don't know if the range of directions, I think you can go in either 6 or 8 directions on the 3DS with the control stick pad thing. I don't know. I don't know these things. And I have something in my eye. Let's see how many ways we can not correctly do the wall jump before we do it correctly. At this point I was just trying to get through the level because Well, because I want to beat the level, I want to beat the game, you know? Watch out for the blue boys. They will stick on your body, and they will make you smell. That would be a weird enemy. They don't hurt you, they just make your character smell bad. In real life. I'm gonna make the first Super Mario scratch-and-sniff game. I think we should bring that back. I think theaters should really, after, with this pandemic shit, and now that things are starting to open back up a little bit, for better or worse, I mean, I think maybe a few of us may be speaking a little bit too soon about things getting so good. In the grand scheme of things, I think things are getting demonstrably better in terms of cases and deaths in America, but, there's all this shit with, like, the vaccine IPs and, the very delayed response to what's going on with, India and everything, and their requests for raw materials and shit. We don't need to get into that right now, but I think with this, after this era of the pandemic, I think theaters need to pull out all the stops, all the gimmicks to get people, to get butts in seats. And I think one of the main ways they could do it is that they could bring back scratch-and-sniff movies. Because why not? I think people are tired of 3D. I don't think it's as big a draw now. I mean, it's just kind of extra showings, more expensive showings if you can't get a 2D showing, at least for me. Very rarely in the last several years have I, specifically opted to see a movie in 3D. I don't even remember what the last movie I saw in 3D was. I think it might have been... might have been The Force Awakens, honestly. Did I see Last Jedi in 3D? I saw it in IMAX, I know that. And usually IMAX and 3D is a package deal now. Unless you're at, the Air and Space Museum. I think that was also in 3D, though. But that was, the big dome IMAX, which is pretty cool. Rather than just, big screen. Anyway, the only movie that I actually know about that had scratch-and-sniff was Rugrats Go Wild, and I never saw it in theaters, so I didn't get to experience the olfactory, experience of the movie. But I know they had ads for it, and I had my cousin, her birthday party was, for her birthday, she took friends to see that movie, and was telling me about it at the time. And, telling me about the scratch-and-sniff shit, and a number would appear on screen, and you'd have a little card, and you would scratch off the number and sniff it, and it would smell like whatever shit is on screen. So, there's a part where one of the babies has peanut butter, and so you scratch it and it smells like peanut butter vaguely. There's another part where, it's a baby's feet and whatever, and so you scratch it and it smells like feet, which is very pleasant. I'm pretty sure one of them is literally dirty diaper, and it's this just adds a whole new dimension to the film experience, is being able to actually smell the shit that is on screen. So I think they should bring that back. I think they should re-release some stuff, and they could get real creative with it, They should release some stuff with scratch and stuff. Also, how about those Oscars, right? Those happened. They gave out the awards. Ceremony-wise, it actually wasn't even that bad. I think they should just continue not having a host, because I think they've proven time and time again that it's not a good idea. Pretty much every host of the Oscars in my lifetime has been pretty terrible. And the cool thing about the change in format and venue is that they didn't do any stupid bits. They had one bit, and it was Glenn Close doing debut, which is fine. And they were doing this thing with, every category. They were doing, an extended bio of all the nominees as they were announcing them. And while I enjoy the sentiment and I understand why they did it, and it's not a bad thing to do in this year, you know, to like center the background of people's stories. First of all, I don't think that many fucking people care. But I did like the focus more on like talking about movie stuff rather than like dumb comedy bits and musical performances. But this came at the expense of musical performances, which even though they're not usually good, I feel like it at least makes sense to perform the original song nominees. Like, why not? But I guess I understand why they did it. They don't need to make it any longer, I suppose. And I like that it was really just about the awards and stuff. They didn't have a bunch of stupid-ass clip shows and everything. It was pretty good. The production itself isn't that great. As far as, like, TV goes, it's pretty fucking boring. That hasn't changed. I still have not heard any news about the viewership of the Oscars. I'm sure it was up there with the least viewed. I'm pretty sure they've been breaking their own record for smallest number of viewers, like, every year consecutively for, like, a decade, so I don't think that trend has changed, most likely, but we'll see. And, you know, all the other things that are kind of inherent problems with the Oscars that I have long just accepted and taken for granted and don't really even notice or register anymore. But all that, you know, being said, it was mostly a good show compared to other ones. Although I gotta say, the ability of live television to be broadcast in, like, super crisp 4K, where it looks like it's been DIT'd, like, on the fly, like, and, like, color correct and everything, and I'm sure it has. And, it's not necessarily a problem, but it does give, because they had this with the Grammys and a few other live events, and, here as well, it just gives things a really strange, like, hyper-real quality to them. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, it makes things that you know are in the moment live things look like they look more like processed. I don't know how else to really describe it, but if you look at them and then, because I mean, it's not like past Oscar ceremonies were not like in good quality or whatever, but I don't know, it was just it felt markedly different visually to me in some ways, and not necessarily in a way that I liked, so. Obviously, the thing that people are talking about is the thing that happened at the very end, which is Anthony Hopkins upsetting for Best Actor over Chadwick Boseman, which I said in my predictions video that I was very close to guessing Anthony Hopkins for the father, because I figured it was possible that something that has happened a few times, where everybody in the Academy assumes, like, when there's one sort of like popular, agreed upon, like, person who's definitely winning in a category. I really saved my ass there. Everybody will just assume that everyone is voting for them, and so they'll vote for, like, their actual favorite. And The Father was, I think, the most recently released of all of the Best Picture nominees. They obviously liked it. It also won Screenplay, which I was correct about, so that felt nice. And Anthony Hopkins is, you know, a beloved actor, and someone that I'm sure they were eager to award again almost exactly 30 years after they did before. And so, yeah, but I figured that the desire to honor Chadwick Boseman would ultimately trump that, but I guess that wasn't the case. But the thing that was very funny is that they went out of order. They haven't done this where they didn't have Best Picture be the last award they gave out. They haven't done that since, I think I heard it was 1972. They haven't done it in a really long time. I thought they had never done it. Because to me it just kind of makes sense to make Best Picture the last one. But they did Best Picture like third or fourth to last and made the last category Best Actor. And when I realized they were doing that, I was like, oh, so it's in the bag for Bozeman, because they want it to end on the note of doing a nice, heartfelt send-off to Chadwick Boseman. Probably to, like, for one thing, to avoid the scenario of, like, an awkward transition of, like, his weeping widow paying tribute to him, and then, you know, them having to go, like, alright, and now please welcome P. Diddy. I don't know why P. Diddy would be at the Oscars, but you know what I mean. That would be pretty funny if they had P. Diddy give out Best Picture. That would be fucking weird, but I wouldn't have a problem with it, I guess. So yeah, they were very much expecting it to be Bozeman, but once again, the fucking folks at PricewaterhouseCoopers are the only people who know what won before the show. The people at the Academy, the producers, don't actually know who won most of the time. So, and I mean, they had been playing up the fact that Bozeman was, like, definitely gonna win all through the night. Not necessarily in the show, but during the, like, pre-show they did on ABC, they were talking about it a lot. And, saved him for last in the in memoriam, mentioned him several times, like, and, you know, in the lead-up to these awards, it was just kind of a foregone conclusion, and he's won the majority of the precursor Best Actor awards, except for the BAFTA, which the father, after winning almost nothing, won Best Actor and Adapted Screenplay at the BAFTAs, the British Academy, essentially the British Oscars. And I think that award ceremony might have had more of a predictive effect than normal on these Oscars, because it is like a peer and industry group. Like, there is crossover between people who are in the British Academy and the American Academy, and a crossover in taste as well. So, but it was still pretty funny, because then they had to end it on Anthony Hopkins, who wasn't even there to accept the award, so it just kind of awkwardly ended with Joaquin Phoenix saying goodbye to everyone after all of that build-up, and after they made a fucking NFT of Chadwick Boseman's head as a virtual gift bag thing, as a tribute, at the Oscars, which was fucking... I mean, that would have been gross and insulting even if he had one, but now with that being the ultimate tribute that the Academy gave him, it's, this is the kind of shit that only the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences could do. This is the kind of great, fuck-up, messy TV they could do. And it was going really smoothly for a while, and then in the last, like, 30 to 40 minutes, they just made a bunch of really weird decisions. But that's what makes it fun. Anyway, I think I rambled about that long enough. Next time, more of the video game.